and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you. We're good people of a tube. Hope today, hope you're feeling grand and all's well in your world. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video, everybody. Look out, it's a talking one. He's been let off the leash again. Who let him out of his cage? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Hi. Anyway, let's calm down and get to the point of this video. So the point of this video, the video is entitled Walk Your Own Path. What do I mean by that? Okay, so what I mean by that is basically when it comes down to your chosen instrument, whether it be guitar, bass, drums, clarinet, saxophone, whatever, you don't really want to let people sway you from what you want when it comes down to kind of, stuff like, what you want to do. What you want to play, what you want to hear, what sound you like, blah, 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 blah. That kind of thing. You have to make your own mind up on that one, and you should stick by what you want, not by necessarily what other people tell you to do. There is a very, you do have to listen to what people have to say. That is fundamental. If somebody says, well, maybe try this, maybe try that, try learning this, try learning that. That you have to do. But if you don't want to learn that, then don't do it. If somebody says, well, you need to learn this scale, and I don't want to learn that scale, don't learn it. If somebody says you need this pedal, and you don't want that pedal, you don't get it. If somebody says you need this amp, and you don't want that amp, don't get it. You know what I mean? It's going to sound a bit weird, but bear with me, people too. In kind of life in general, there we go, it's going all zen, bear with me. Everyone walks their own individual path. No one walks the same path as anybody else. And that's the way it should be, in my opinion. No one should ever walk, you can walk side by side with somebody on parallel paths. Say you're in a really good friendship or a relationship or whatever. You walk side by side, but you're still on your own path. You know what I mean? Every now and again, paths will cross, and they'll go side by side. And sadly, sometimes they drift, but you're never on somebody else's path, which means you're never really on somebody else's wavelength, and you never really, you're not them. So if somebody says to you, like, oh, well, you need this, but you don't like that, you have to have that kind of like, that strength to go, oh, I don't want that. I'm not interested. I don't care. It's as simple as that. Or I don't like it, or I hate that. You have to have that kind of honesty to remain true to what you are. You need to maintain that kind of integrity, if you will, if that's the right word, to kind of do that thing. And unfortunately, in the music world, there is a lot of pressure on people to use certain things. You've got to use this. You've got to use that. Otherwise, what kind of player are you? And I've always found that to be absolute nonsense and stupidity, and I can't stand it, to be honest. It drives me up a wall. Because it takes away... You can't make people's decisions for them, and people try all the time. You can see it everywhere. That whole idea of like, well, I know best, so you should listen to me. In fact, the only person who knows best is you. You need to trust yourself. Yes, you need to listen to people and take on advice when... you're ready for it and you can actually use it. Advice is only good if you can actually practically use it. If somebody tells you something really, really, advice-wise that's really, really good, but you've got no concept of what it means, how are you going to use it? It'd be like somebody coming up to me and saying, "Oh, this is how to fix a car engine." I've got no idea how to apply that practically. So it's pointless. There is no point telling me how to fix a car engine because I won't understand it. And until I kind of dove into that world, it wouldn't make sense. And the same thing goes for any instrument and life in general in a way. Unless you have a total understanding of where you are, then advice in that area is kind of pointless, if that makes any sense. I'm sure. I hope that makes kind of sense. I'm a bit terrified already. Here we go. Great start. We're only 4 minutes in, and I'm already terrified. I'm saying nonsense. Maybe you are saying nonsense, Dave. You are full of it. Anyway, let's not do that. Anyway, So yeah, but anyway, coming back to the whole thing of walk your own path, you have to be set to what you want. You know what I mean? I've been there and I've done this. I've had people tell me, "Oh, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that." When I first started playing guitar and stuff like that, people would tell me, "Oh, you can't do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this." And when I would do those things, it always felt forced and not fun. You know, and it came up later on when I went down to London to the ICMP in London to study music there. When I would learn what they kind of wanted me to learn, like sight reading and stuff like that, which again I can't do at all actually because my dyslexia, I can't see it properly, and certain other things, it just takes the fun out of it, and it's like, well, this is what you've got to do, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do that, and surely I don't have to do that because if it feels wrong, then surely that's not right. You know, if something's killing the fun of something you love, there's no good part of that. And it was at that point, and I've had quite a lot of these, and I'm sure a lot of us have had these kind of points in our life where you have to kind of question, what do I really want this? You know, do I really want to go down that road? You know, do I really want to go there or do I want to go here? You know, and some, you know, sometimes you'll make wrong decisions, but invariably you have to dig deep and find out what you want. And it's the same when you kind of like go to a guitar shop. I mean, I've had questions before in the past of people for Q&A Wednesday, of people like been intimidated into buying gear by shop staff, like, oh, you don't want to buy that, you need this instead. And that's just horrific because that's not the way it should be. You know, it's like people who go in there, like, you know, say they're a Jimi Hendrix fan, they go into a guitar shop, they want a Stratocaster, and they want a Marshall, and they want a fuzz pedal, and yet they leave with a Mesa Boogie and a Les Paul and a high gain shredder pedal. You know, just because they've been pressured by somebody or staff to buy that because, oh, you don't want that, you need this instead. This is what you need. You know, you don't want to be doing that. You know, and there, you know, I've been there, and that's happened to me. That's happened to me a few times where I've gone into, when I first started playing guitar, I remember going to guitar shops, and I'm like, oh, I really want to buy that. Oh no, you don't want that. You want this. This is so much better. And invariably, it went wrong. You know. It would always go wrong, you know. It never worked out well, or, you know. And through these experiences in my life of kind of like, you know, people saying, oh, you know, don't use solid state amps, you know, oh, they're rubbish. You know, solid state amps are rubbish. You need a valve amp. You need really good pedals. You don't need cheap pedals. You don't want to be playing cheap guitars. You don't want to be doing this and the other. Through those points in life, I decided, like, very early on, I was just like, well, no, this feels right to me. You know, solid state amps feel right to me. My pedals feel right to me. My guitars feel right. So if it feels right, who are you to say it's wrong if you're not me? You know, and that's the whole point of this video, that walk your own path, is you have to have that integrity to say, no, I'm alright, cheers. When somebody says, oh, well, why are you using that? It's because I like it. Yeah, but it's rubbish, isn't it? I mean, what you want is what I've got. No, what you've got is great for you. What I've got is great for me. And that's the way it should be. You can't sway people into liking something you like just because. You know, it's not fair. That's not the way it should be. You know, I don't like the idea of people kind of getting I don't like the idea of people manipulating people into buying things if they don't actually want it. You know, it's you have to have that kind of like I say, it is an integrity of just kind of going, no. You know, even if it's say it's like, you know, oh, it's my dream to own a PRS, say that for instance, you know, and a PRS comes along into a guitar shop and you see it and it's like, it's absolutely perfect. It's like, that's looks how I want it, and you pick it up and you play with it and it just doesn't connect. You have to have the strength at that point to go, this isn't the right one. This isn't the right one. And move away from it, and you have to wait. You know, you have to have that. And the same thing goes if somebody's trying to press you into buying something. You have to go, no, I'm not doing that. You know, I've had it so many times over the years with my Marshall MGs. You know, you shouldn't be using solid state. You know, you need valve. Who says? Where's the rules? And why? Why? Because you have it? Why does that mean I have to have it? If you've got it, it works for you. That's great. But it might, you know, what works for you might not work for me. and I might not necessarily like it. You know, there's no point trying to force your opinions on other people. Everyone needs to make up your own mind on the path they walk. And you have to stay true to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself and go, do I actually like this? And if you don't, you can say no. And that's okay. I've said it in A&Qs before. It's okay to say you don't like something. It's okay to say you hate something. It's okay. There's such a stigma attached to that kind of thing of like, you can't say you hate something. How dare you? That's very rude. No, I think it's more honest than anything. If somebody says, oh, I've got this new pedal, I've got this new guitar, I've got this new amp, and they're playing on it and you don't like it at all, then you're allowed to say, no, I don't like that at all. Or I hate that sound. That is horrible. You're allowed to say that. And you're not doing it to hurt the other person. It's just the fact of that's your opinion. You know what I mean? And the other person has to understand that's your opinion. And it shouldn't have any sway on them. If they like it and they love it, what does your opinion matter? It doesn't. People have had a go at me for years and years and years about my guitar sound being muddy and dark and dull. Yeah, that's the way I want it. That's the way I've always wanted it. I don't like treble. I've never liked treble. There is something in treble that drives me up the wall and back down again. It's always off, mainly always off. But I think the orange CL120 is the only amp I use the treble on because it's really subtle. The treble doesn't really do a great deal. It's great. I love it. It's perfect. But if it's an MG or a Boss Katana, the treble's never on. I don't use it. But people have told me in the past, oh, it's wrong. No, it's not. It might be wrong for you, but for me, it's exactly what I want. And that's the point. And people can't... You can't take offence at somebody's differing opinion. You have to just accept it, even if you don't like it, even if it upsets you. But you shouldn't take it on board because it's their opinion. It's not yours. Back in the day, if I'd caved when somebody said, oh, you need a valve amp, I would have sold all my solid state stuff. Granted, at the time, I only had about 3 of them. But I would have sold that and got a valve amp, and I'd have been massively unhappy. And I know I would have been unhappy, and that's why I stuck with my solid state, and that's why I got thrown out of that band. But I stuck with my solid state amps because I knew that was where my happy place was. I knew that was the sound I wanted, that's the sound I loved and liked, and I knew there was no point me changing, and there was no point me selling my amp, the amp that I love, the Fish, the Marshall MG, my number 1 amp. There's no point selling that and getting an amp that I'm not going to be happy with. You know what I mean? So you do have to kind of dig deep and go, I'm not doing that. And if people get upset at the fact that you don't like what they like, that is their problem then. It's all, if somebody said, people have said to me all the time, they don't like my guitar sound, they don't like my amps, they don't like my pedals, they don't like my guitars. Fair enough, I don't care. You don't have to like them, they're not yours, So you have to think about that every time you do something, or you learn something, or you write a song. I do apologize about my phone. You have to think about kind of like, does it make you happy? Do you like it? Do you love it? If you do, doesn't matter what anybody says. If somebody comes on and says, oh God, I hate those, and you love it, then so what? So what? Who cares? Oh, I don't like that kind of amp. So, I love it. Works for me. And that's the thing is, there shouldn't be any kind of malice or maliciousness with disagreeing or not liking something somebody else likes, or having a difference of opinion, or this and the other. It should just be kind of an amicable thing of like, oh, I'm not a big fan of that myself. Really? Oh, I really love it. Oh, really? And you could have a really cool conversation with people when you talk about like, if like, I love it when I do comparison videos between like amps and pedals, because I love to read your comments. Like it's fascinating. It's so cool to like hear that how people perceive sound totally different. Everyone perceives everything different, and that's the point. And again, walk your own path. No. I like when I did the Boss Katana and the Boss Next Tone shootout. A lot of people were like, I prefer the Next Tone, it sounded more like this, it sounded more like that. I prefer the Katana, it sounded more like this, it sounded more like that. I prefer the clean of a katana, but the distortion of a next tone. It's the way we all perceive things. I personally just prefer the katana. Over the next tone. If you gave me a choice, I'd go katana only. But that's the thing is, if you can hear what you like and you know what you like, and everybody knows what they like. You just have to look inside yourself and you can see it. Then you need to kind of maintain that honesty and integrity to yourself and not bend under pressure or any kind of thingy to kind of sell yourself short. Really, there's no point doing that. You got to stay true to yourself. You've got to walk your path. You've got to go, I like this. If you don't like it, that's fine, but that's not going to stop me from using it just because you don't like it. And if you don't like something that somebody else is using, you go, oh, I'm not a big fan of those, so why is it you like it? It's always interesting, I think, to hear people's ideas of what they like and why they like it, but it's not for you to tell them that it's ever wrong. Relicking guitars. I don't like relicking guitars. Fair enough, but it's not wrong just because you don't like it. I don't like solid state amps. Fair enough, but it's not wrong just because you don't like it. It has to be that way. You can't force your opinions on other people and expect them to go, okay, because that's just wrong. That's just wrong in every way. You really need to just kind of go, well, I don't like that, but if you do, wicked. I'm curious to know why. Why do you like that so much? It's why I always ask in videos, when I do comparison videos, which one did you like and why? Because the why is really important, I think. Why do I like the Marshall MG? Why do I like the CR120? Why do you like whatever? Why do you like the next tone over the katana? What is it in the sound that it's not a confrontational question. It's a curiosity question. It's an actual question of why is that then? What is it about the sound that you like more? What is it about this guitar you like more over this guitar? What is it about this pedal you like more over this? And so on and so forth. And that's cool. And I love the fact that we're all different. We all perceive sound different. We all perceive tone different. We all want different sounds. And we all really have our own individual sound. Even if we don't know it. You know what I mean? Even if you're trying to I've got this amp and it's whatever, it still sounds like you, because we're all individual people at the end of the day, and we all like different things, and we all arrive at tone, sound, setup, whatever, differently, and that's the way it should be. What's the point in kind of selling yourself short and getting something you don't want? Same thing goes for emulating your heroes, and this is something that I've gotten a lot, because obviously my mad obsession with Mr. JF. People say it's unhealthy, it's wrong, it's just you shouldn't be that obsessed, you shouldn't be trying to emulate somebody else and this that, and the other. It's well, to you, fair enough, but to me, it makes me very happy. And in all fairness, it's what's got me where I am on the guitar, because John Frusciante is that influence that's always pushed me. Because I'm not where I want to be. I want to be able to emote like he can. And I'm not there yet. So trying to be him pushes me. Same as John Frusciante, Rory Gallagher, Mike McCready, Peter Green. All these guitarists who are my heroes, I try and emulate them, because it's not the fact I want to be them, but I want to play like them. You know what I mean? I don't want to be John Frusciante. I don't want to be Jimi Hendrix, but God, I would love to play like them with the passion and the feel and that drive they've got. And in so doing, that's what drives me. You know what I mean? And I love that. And I love tone chasing different sounds. How can I get the Voodoo Child sound? How can I get the Bad Penny sound? How can I get Danny California and Scar Tissue and all this kind of thing? How can I get these guitar tones? How can I get the dynamic jumps that Peter Green has, which I'm still working on. I still don't know how he does it. Anyway, but again, if you don't like the fact that people emulate their heroes, that's cool. If you don't like it, that's fine. But it's not for you to ever say that it's wrong if that person enjoys it. You know what I mean? People. You can't tell me my obsession with John Frusciante is wrong, because to me it isn't, and nothing's gonna change my mind on that one ever. You know, because that man, I owe him so much of my want, love, and desire to play the guitar. You know what I mean? It's insane how much he's influenced me, and he inspires me every day to play the guitar. You know, and push myself to be better. You know, and again, it's a whole thing of like, just because you don't like it or you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's wrong. You know what I mean? You have to see both sides. There's never one side of a coin. There's always two sides of it, and you have to see the other side. Even if it really annoys you and you don't like it, you have to see it. Because just seeing from things from your perspective all the time is not the way the world is. You know, the way we perceive our world is fine for us. But the thing is, there's billions of other people out there perceiving the world their way. And you have to take that into consideration. So, and they're not you, and they shouldn't be you, because you're you, and they're them. That makes any sense. And you have no sway on them, and they have no sway on you. And that's the way it should be. If they don't like what you do, fair enough. If you don't like what they do, fair enough. You don't have to like things just because. You don't have to say something's good just because. You know, to this, that, and the other. You know, it's all about honesty and being true. You know, and being true to yourself and to others. Because the thing is, if you just you can land yourself in very hot water liking something you don't like. Because then you kind of like have to wear a mask every time that thing happens. You go, oh yeah, I really love that. Where inside you're like, I really don't like this. You know, it's like, you know, if you're like, say for instance somebody said, oh, do you like disco music? And you go, yes, but you actually really don't like disco music. And then you have to join a disco music band and you have to play disco music all night long and you hate it. That's not good for you. You know what I mean? It's not good for your inner self because it's just soul destroying. Been there, trust me, it's not great. And I'm sure a lot of us have been there as well, where we've done things where we're just like, why am I doing this? Why didn't I just say no to this? And again, it's honesty and integrity. We've all done it. We've all been there. We've all sold ourselves short at some point, and we will sell ourselves short again in the future, whether we like it or not. But we have to have the honesty, decency, and foresight to go, this doesn't work for me. Sorry, I can't do this. And sometimes it's so hard. Sometimes it breaks your heart, and sometimes it's going to break other people's hearts. But it's just the way the world has to. I mean, to me, that's the way it has to be. You know, you can't lie. You can't fake stuff. You can't wear a mask forever. It'll fall off, and then we'll see the real you. You know what I mean? And that was what I always kind of like strove to do with this YouTube channel. Was like, I don't want to wear a mask. I wanted to be me. You know, I just want to be me, and like, you know, I'll you'll see me for better or for worse. Some days, you know, some days I'll be really depressed. Some days I'll look more of a mess than I always are. You know, but that's who I am. You know, I don't see the point in creating a false Dave, because that's not who I am, and it's just pointless. It just seems totally stupid to me. I don't see why you'd want to be anybody but yourself. Again, I say it all the time. Come back to the Kurt Cobain quote, where he talks about, what did he say? He says, trying to be somebody else is a waste of who you are. And I agree with that totally, to an extent, obviously, because I still believe that, you know, you can try and emulate your heroes, and I still think that's totally fine. But saying that, you're emulating your heroes, playing, you're not trying to be that human being. You know, I'm not living like John Frusciante. You know, I'm not living like him. I don't act like he does. I don't behave like he does. I'm just obsessed with the music and the way he plays the guitar. You know, I'm not trying to be the man himself. I'm trying to emulate that way he plays. You know, I don't want to be him. I just want to play like him. And in learning how he plays and copying how he plays and trying to go for that sound that affects me so deeply, I find it. You know what I mean? The John Frusciante sound has always affected me. From that first time I saw him play, his sound has always affected me. So it was just, you know, I was immediately like, I need that sound. And that's what I've always gone for ever since, because it really gets me. You know what I mean? And that makes me happy. That's all, and no one's gonna make me feel bad about that. No one's gonna convince me I'm doing the wrong thing either, and they shouldn't for you either. If you want to pursue Jimi Hendrix or Buckethead or Steve Vai, if you want that sound because it affects you emotionally and that style of playing affects you emotionally, go for it. No one should tell you that's wrong, because it's not wrong. If you want to do it, you do it. You know what I mean? Don't let other people throw you off your path and try and get you onto theirs, because you don't fit. You know, everyone walks a path that is suitable for one person only. You can't get another person on it. You can walk parallel, but there's still a gap. And that's the way it should be. You know, we are, like I keep saying it, we're all individual, we're all different. We all like things in a different way. You know, we all perceive things differently. We all want different things, you know. There's no point selling yourself short and trying to just kind of like convince yourself that, oh, that person said I need this, so I better go and get it, but I don't really want it. In that case, you don't need it. You need what you want instead, you know. I really hope this is making sense, people of Tube. I'm a bit terrified that this is absolute garbage and nonsense, but I feel it's really... this is something I'm really passionate about, and I feel is really important, that whole kind of like the honesty side of things, especially in music. Like, you know, like I say, and it's okay to say you don't like something. You know, and if somebody gets upset the fact you don't like what they do, it's understandable. I get it. I mean, people have... I've done things in the past where people are like, I really don't like that. And it does upset you. But then you have to take a step back from that and go and realise, well, do I like it? Yeah, do I still like it? If people don't like that, do I still like it? And if you come up saying, yeah, to be honest, I do, then what does it matter if somebody else doesn't? Again, just be true to yourself. You know, it's not all about seeking acceptance of things. I understand the whole I want acceptance thing. I totally understand that. You know, I really do. I mean, I've been there. You know, I really understand the whole idea of like wanting acceptance from your peers and your friends and your family. You know, you want people to say, yeah, that's wicked. And when they don't, it does crush you a little bit. But the fact of the matter is, you have, like I say, you take a step back from that and just go, do I still love doing this? Or do I still love this that I've created? And if you can say yes, that's all that matters. You know, at that point, you just go, well, I still love it. You know what I mean? You don't have, not everybody has, you know, and again, it's people's right not to like what you do. Or to like everything you do. Or whatever. Or not like, you know, anything. You know, if they don't like you, it's their right. You know, you can't take offence to it because, like I say, there's always two sides to this coin. There's not just one side of it. You can't just kind of go, well, everyone should like me because, or everyone should like this because, should I say. You know, it's like, no, that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. Even if the whole world loves what you've created, there will be one person who doesn't. And that's the way it should be. You know, you can't make everybody happy. You can't please everyone. So try and please yourself and be happy in yourself. You know, and in so doing, it becomes infectious. And other people are happy because you're happy. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, you know. If somebody doesn't like what you do, that's cool. It's fine. Just take it on the chin. It's not a big deal. I don't like the fact you use solid state amps, Dave. So what? I'm still using them, and I will do. You know, I'm not interested in anything else. I'm not interested. You know, I've got the Oranges, I've got the Marshalls, I've got the Boss Katanas. I'm happy. You know, if I could only ever have these amps for the rest of my life, fine with that. No problem at all. No worries. You know, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. You know, because again, it's just all about being you. This is your life. This is your path. You walk it the way you want to walk it. You do what you want. Within reason, obviously. You know, you can't run around naked screaming bibble. Bit weird. Well, you can in the comfort of your own house, but don't do it outside. You might get arrested. But, you know, you just got to have that honesty of like going, that's not good enough. Or I don't like it. Or I hate that. You know, it's okay to say you hate things. It's okay to say you don't like things. It's all about being honest. And that's because that's everything. And the thing is, it's like, there are, in all honesty, people of YouTube, yes, there are certain times where you'll have to be dishonest to be just nice. But when it comes down to you and certain situations, then you have to be really honest with it. It's like, you know, if you go for an audition, or if somebody comes to an audition, like say you've got a band, and somebody comes to an audition with you, and they play and it's not working, you have to go, sorry mate, not working. You know, you have to have that strength to go, sorry, this isn't working. You know, and the same thing goes with other things as well. Like if something just isn't working, you have to stop it and go, yeah, this isn't right. You know, you can't force things. You know, you can't get square pegging around hole. You can't. You know, it's pointless. You can't fit yourself through a keyhole. You know, it's not gonna work. And obviously, you know, like I say, certain situations do require you to bend slightly, obviously. But most of the time, I do feel in music, it's really important to be honest within music. You know, when you play, it's got to be honest. You know, just be you. You know, just be what you are. And if people don't like it, fine. But what does it matter? If somebody doesn't like you, so what? You know, how are you going to go through life and not upset somebody or offend somebody in some way? Or, you know, somebody's going to look at you in the street and go, God, I don't like you. Because that's just human nature. They might not even know you. They might, you know, if they actually knew you, they might actually really like you. But from first glance, they'll judge. And that's the way it is. That's humans. So because of that, just, embrace the fact that that's going to happen. As an inevitability. And there's something you can do about that. So just keep walking. Keep going your way. Walk your path. Don't walk somebody else's. Do what you want. Play what you want. Be what you want. You know what I mean? There's no point trying to sell yourself short to make, something. Yeah, I don't know. You know, you've got to be honest. You've got to be true to yourself. There is a certain aspect. There is a certain side of everybody where you've got to kind of go. No, I'm not doing that. Oh, I don't like that. You know, like I say, certain situations will require you to sometimes go, yeah, you know what, that's really good. When you're just like, but that situation. What's the word I'm after? Well, certain situations that'll happen, but the fact is, you're still you. You still have to be you. You have to live with your actions and your mistakes, which are always good, by the way. Make mistakes, fail all the time. It's great. You know, honestly, failing is the way you learn. Failing is the way you progress in everything. You know, it really is. I mean, there's again weird stigma attached to failing of like, oh, it's really bad to fail. No, it's not. It's actually extremely good to fail, and that needs to stop. That people see failing as a bad thing. It's a good thing. You know, failure is good because it pushes you to go, well, that didn't work. Let's try something else, you know. Anyway, Pikachu, I'm going to get off because I feel like I'm waffling and I could talk all day and I'm not going to because I already feel like I'm waffling and it's not making any sense. So, but I just wanted to do a little video on walk your own path because I feel it's really important, especially when it comes down to musical gear and playing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when it comes down to gear and playing, which is really what I'm kind of waffling on about, really, to be honest with you, in general, it's really important to stay true to what you want and what you like and what you love and the sound you like. You know what I mean? It's not for anybody else to say, oh, that's wrong. To them, yes, it probably is. But to you, if you love it and it feels right to you, it's right. Jobs are good at. You know what I mean? And that's the way it should be. You know? Everyone's different. Everyone hears and perceives the world in a different way. So why force your views on somebody else if it isn't going to work? You know, it's not right. It's just bullying then, isn't it? And that's not good. Don't like that. So yeah, I don't know, PeopleTube. Hopefully this video is okay. I hope there's something you can take away. I'm terrified now of this video because I'm always afraid that I'm not doing good enough. I'm not. That's not good enough, Dave. You need to try harder. Today's intro jam wasn't good enough. You need to try harder. You know what I mean? But again, that's the way I see it. I mean, I've been told that's a really bad way to do things, but to me, that's really, I like it because it pushes me. And I like it. I like the push. I like the kick up the arse, if you will. Go! Keep moving. You know, I like that. I don't like to slack off. I like to go, no, that's got to be better next time. You've got to push. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep going. There's no point doing it half-arsed. So that might be wrong for some people. Some people might not like that at all. That's fair enough. You don't have to like it, you know. But that's how I function. That's how I work. But anyway, like I say, just walk your own path. Sometimes paths cross. Sometimes you're walking parallel with somebody else, but you're always on your path. No one else can fit on it but you. No one else can walk it but you. So just keep on walking, you know, and be true, honest, maintain integrity. You know what I mean? Just, if you love it and somebody else doesn't, that's their problem, not yours. If you love it, it feels right, it's right. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. You just got to keep true to you. It's really important, that is. I really do feel that's so important. I always think of Rory Gallagher when I think about this. Rory was always him. You know, Rory was never anybody but himself. You know, with the albums he made, the way he was, the way he performed, this, that, and the other, he was always him. And it's just like, that's the kind of person I want to follow. You know what I mean? Rory is one of those people who I want to follow in that integrity of, like, you know, I will not, unless it's what I feel is right, I'm not going to do it. You know, it's so cool. Anyway, people, I'm going to get off. I hope you enjoyed this vid. I do hope it's made some kind of sense. I do apologise for the whiffle waffle. I hope there's something in there you can take away, though. And like I say, just keep walking. Walk your own path. Be happy. You know, and yeah, I'll see you again. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening, everybody. Have a great one now. And goodbye now. Thank you much indeed. Hope this makes sense. I'm terrified.